Hey guys, how you doing? This is D Durrell with D Durrell Life Solutions. Happy for each and every one of you for being here today. Let's look at this video and maybe learn a few things and converse with me. Please leave comments in the comment section for any questions or any comments as it relates to this topic. I want to focus today on the difficulties in managing multiple businesses. We will talk about the fact that it's already difficult enough in the odds of operating an effective business, just one business. But the fact that as you become more ambitious, you make more money, you have more interest, you begin to want to dive into other areas. Now, as I think about it from my own perspective, I want to look at the fact that most of the secondary endeavors that I engaged in did not work. And the reason why they didn't work is because either I didn't have the proper people in place or I didn't have enough time to make it a success. And I want you to keep this in mind for those who are operating a profitable business and you're looking to invest and spread your wings to other areas. Matter of fact, I remember back in 2010 when I had partners, we wanted to dive into home health care. Horrible mistake. Didn't work. Lost a bunch of money. The staff wasn't worth a damn. We ended up having disagreements about our current business because we were investing money out of our primary business into a project that didn't work. It happens. I would encourage people not to take money out of a profitable business to engage in a new business unless they're interrelated. If the new business can't function on its own or you can't find the funding for that, treat it as a different entity. For myself, I engaged in multiple entities. I created a new counseling agency that ran in conjunction to the agency I had, and it was successful. And it's still operating as we speak today in smaller scale. Also, I engaged in partnerships that were semi successful but didn't have longevity. I invested in transportation, never got the proper staff, very time consuming, didn't work. Invested in the group home, moderately successful. Engaged in different things like that, multiple locations. My Dallas location was highly successful, but in it being successful, it also came with a lot of pain in the asses. And so eventually, too many pains, I felt that it was better for me to, not from a monetary standpoint, but just from a functional standpoint, from my own sanity and peace of mind, it was better for me to keep things local instead of managing things in multiple cities. So I kind of seen some success and I've seen some failure. My failures may not be your failures, but these are key things that I want to talk about that will help you maintain that if you choose to do businesses and look at the difficulties, because we're talking about the difficulties. Primary thing is that financially it can become a drain. That second or more business, even if one business is successful, you're constantly worrying about the business that isn't successful. It's facts. You could be making millions of dollars in one, and if you're losing a bunch of money in the other one, you're worried about why I got to take some of the money out of here to help that one. When it's a totally separate entity, and if it doesn't work, let it be unsuccessful exclusively by itself. Next thing, difficulty finding staff. It's particularly if you're operating businesses in different industries. What may work for one industry and the way you would hire and fire may not be the same for another industry. Totally different type of people, different skill set. Understand that, do your homework. Now, this is the biggest, I think, one of the biggest things you have to look at and operate multiple business is time management. If you have poor time management, you're going to find yourself being at the will of your business and every problem that occurs. You have to be the person to set the guidelines. You have to be the person to set the time of way things are being managed in motion. Don't allow the business itself to basically dictate to you. You dictate to the business. Now, for me, that was one of the most difficult things for me because I was trying to figure out how much time a day should I engage and interact with every business. What I have done at this point is that I basically have segmented certain days to deal with business directly, and I'm open to take phone calls for indirect issues. The Janice house that I own, I go there at least 3 days a week. At one time, I was going to the Janice house every day. It wore me out at the beginning of COVID, going there every day, checking on things, doing stuff. It was greatly difficult. It was horrible. But I did it, and I made it work until the point where I didn't have to do it anymore. 1 second, guys. 1 second. So, next thing is that in that time management, hey, I block off time from 8 to 12, my regular company, Janice house in the afternoons. Saturdays, I'm open. I don't accept calls after 5 o'clock for certain entities. Sometimes the Janice house is 24 hours because I'm dealing with human beings in a group home capacity. So you have to create the structure, dictate how it's going to be operated. You have to create a timeline of operation for yourself. You have to understand when you need to take rest and when you just won't be available for one, but for the other, outside of text and phone calls. Just because you own multiple businesses don't mean you have to be at each business every day and have to show your face. And I know as business owners, we like to be hands-on. But the success of that business does not mean you have to be hands-on. The success of that business is in its operation and you overseeing that operation to function and to be profitable. Okay? The difficulties of business, of operating businesses has many benefits, but it also has many difficulties. And you have to evaluate what's best for you. Now, I have owned several businesses, have had partnerships, gone good and bad. And I had to understand how much to invest in each. You have to do the same, and you have to recognize if you want to take on the endeavors of multiple businesses, you are going to have to be the one to structure it so that it can benefit you. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions.